Happy Easter, everyone. This is critical. I don't remember what number because I don't actually keep track of it anymore. I'm Mongo, joined as always by my co-host Liger Boost. So we don't have like an actual topic this week because we kind of never. Oh, it's episode 110. I just looked it up. We never really have like a topic most of the time anymore. But like Steve Rosenthal blessed us with the fucking interview with wrestling figures, and
Ugh.
there's some doozies in that one. I got Xenia working on the Steam Deck, and I've been playing SmackDown '07. I have some revelations for everyone because I don't remember what I said about that game in a review, whatever the hell that was. Um, and also, I've been digging into like that weird 2000s WWE Japan boom. I don't have any conclusive answers, but it's a fascinating thing to think about. But before we get there, how are you this week?
I'm not doing too bad. We were just talking about before we started recording the Sin Sophia mobile game, The Golden Hour, and the legends that were in that. And I just found out that Wolf Hawkfield was in it as a licensed character, also El Blaze. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's a game that not a lot of people talk about because obviously it was mobile, but also because it was just in Japan. But Sin Sophia, which was previously Aki, the last wrestling game, was technically a mobile game. So um, kind of wild. I want to look into this more when we finish here today.
I accidentally almost popped up a video and we would have had to have edited copyrighted fucking sound out of the back. It's not porn, just for the record. It was the early to mid 2000s uh, uh, WWE signature. So I'll start with the WWE Japan boom thing because it's a weird thing to me. So we've referenced on the show before how they did the show at Yokohama Arena in '02 and it was sold out. They did like a Fuji TV special. Crowd super hot for everything. Rock was like the most over motherfucker in the world. But what I didn't realize until I looked it up, because I think I might have referenced that the Saitama Super Arena televisions that they did in '05 got a DVD release in '08.
Mhm.
I didn't realize they went back to Saitama for 2 nights in '05 and drew okay for all of them. And I started looking at it like, no, they did the Triple H Tajiri match over there. That show drew pretty decently. And it dawned on me like their trips in the '90s did not go super great. The wrestling summit was helped greatly by New Japan and All Japan's participation. The SWS Tokyo Dome shows were uh I don't believe the sold out attendances in terms of like actual sold tickets
Yeah.
because money laundering allegedly. Um and the WAR tour in '94 did not do well. Like I don't remember the announced attendances off the top of my head, but I know that they're not legit. I don't buy that the WWF and WAR drew like 8,000 people at Castle in '94.
Mm.
No, that didn't happen. So like they have this weird surge of popularity in the early to mid 2000s in Japan, and I mean even when they run the Budokan later in the 2000s, I remember those claimed attendance figures. They're probably bullshit, but they're not bullshit. Like they drew 11,000 to that was never going to happen.
Right.
But I remember reading like 7,500 or whatever, and this is in the period where New Japan's not running that building anymore because it's too expensive and it's hard to draw. And this is in the period where like Noah's still running the building and they're claiming way larger crowds than you can tell they're actually drawing. So like if they drew 7,500, that's really impressive because they're an outside they're like a Western company. And I started digging because like I knew they signed with J Sports in 2006, and for those that don't know, that was a channel that for a long time in Japan had the ESPN branding on it. It was a big fucking deal. There was a point where that channel aired WWE and New Japan's secondary show. New Japan's secondary show, but also they aired WWE. Like they had Raw and SmackDown on J Sports, I'm pretty sure. And so I went down the fucking rabbit hole of trying to see if I could find sales figures for Exciting Pro Wrestling, which was the Japanese name for the SmackDown series. Because I guess Ukes had like a kind of sort of backdoor, possibly illegal deal to to publish the games they were developing.
They published them for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, for like a really long time. But I think there's like whenever the exciting pro wrestling branding goes away is like when the deal had to get like corrected for lack of a better term. Cause like exciting pro wrestling goes away with what, SmackDown '08?
Probably, I'm not sure.
I know it's one of the PS3 era games where that branding goes away. But I couldn't find any sales data. But for an example of how well the things did, it's not hard to find the tour programs from any of those mid 2000s tours. It's not hard to find the tour t-shirts. Ticket stubs are a little harder to find, but I did find one for like the early '03 run on TotoCon. And it's so fascinating to me that there was apparently like a demand for that. Not a huge one, because 16,000 is not the full capacity of Saitama Super Arena, but it's the full capacity of one of the setups for that building.
Right.
Like, and one of my friends had the theory that like, well, Hustle, but like Hustle
I was going
wasn't
to say that
popular.
too. Yeah, Hustle wasn't. I don't think Hustle would have brought any viewers to WWE realistically.
No, like I was reading like an '04 Observer, and apparently Hustle was really trying to get on US pay-per-view because they weren't drawing in Japan, and the TV airings of their shows were not doing good ratings.
Yeah, you can hear the English language commentators on the first Hustle show.
I think you've referenced that before, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Morrow and I don't know if it was Boss Rutan, but there was definitely Morrow.
And so like it's this really weird thing that I'm dreading having to send a fucking question into the Observer mailbag about, but like I know the answer for '02 is they had Rock. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
obvious. Like he was a big fucking deal. But like what's the excuse for the '03 tour? Tajiri was never a big star in Japan, and maybe him challenging for the world title might have got some people. And I think it was Yoyogi National Gymnasium. But that you're not getting that big of a crowd for Tajiri versus Triple H. You're just not. And like the '04 shows do well. Those are like right before Mania or right after Mania 20. Mania happens so early in March that it's like March 13th or whatever the fuck. And then obviously again, they ran Saitama Super Arena 4 times in 2005, two of which were for TV, which was like I remember when that Raw aired, and it's like we're at the, as Jim Ross said, the Saitama Super Arena, and they kept saying Tokyo, like the UFC did when they ran Saitama for the first time, and I'm like, it's not in fucking Tokyo. It's like saying Yokohama's in Tokyo. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, but they don't
But
care.
like, no, but I remember seeing like there were spoilers for Raw, and I'm like, where the fuck? Oh, it's at the building that Pride holds shows in. That was wacky. And like there's matches from those shows on YouTube. I watched the fucking Edge and Triple H match because I just had to know. Like people have held that match up. Whenever you say Triple H is a shitty worker, that's like one of the matches they bring up. I watched that match. Here are my findings. They do the headlock takeover head scissors spot like the Tajiri match. Triple H does the yeah you think I can't do shit. Watch my big roided up ass do the headstand spot, which popped me in the Tajiri match and it popped me here. Because how the fuck is that guy able to do it?
I have
Like
no
he's
idea.
so goddamn roided out, and he does the headstand. He doesn't get like the full pop out like Jack Briscoe would, but like Jack Briscoe wasn't 270 pounds of fucking steroids either. Like Jack Briscoe was an actual athlete. And then so he does that. There was a shitty Triple H punch at Edge, and then they proceed to have a regular Triple H match, complete with a ref bump where the ref's dead for way longer than it makes any fucking logical sense. The most effective part of that entire segment is the Batista holds Triple H's hand up while Triple H has the belt in his hand and he's looking at the belt. And Triple H's like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. Hey, Dave, why are you looking at my belt, buddy? Like, that's the most effective part of the whole fucking thing. The SmackDown is probably the one I think more people, just through things being reposted, might have more memories of because That's the infamous. I ain't afraid of you. You just a lizard on steroids.
Oh
You like Barry
God,
Bonds. You play baseball. That segment's fucking hilarious.
I haven't seen it, but I hated it. I mean, I haven't seen it since it aired, but I hated it at the time.
I don't remember what I thought of it at the time. You know what? It was leading up to that Big Show JBL cage match, and I could not give a shit about that match when I was 13.
Yeah,
But like watching it now, like you just like Big Show. He's a dinosaur. His name's Barney. He eats pizza. Like Jesus Christ, that killed me.
just to
What
confirm, I'm going through some Hustle 1 right now, and that's definitely Boss sitting ringside.
I kind of
Yeah,
want to hear Boss Rutan commentate professional wrestling because he didn't like. Obviously, he worked,
yeah, yeah.
but I don't. I don't know how much he understood, like to be able to call. He probably isn't bad.
No, yeah, he probably wouldn't have any worse than anyone that was doing WWE commentary at the time. But yeah, it would have been interesting to
Zero
hear.
chance he's worse than Michael Cole or fucking Lawler. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I remember watching it years ago, and you could hear like Morrow come through sometimes, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And yeah, it would have been interesting if they actually did get a deal on US pay-per-view.
That's funny you mentioned that. So the ROH Big Bang pay per view, the one with the Tyler Black, Austin Aries, Roderick Strong three way match.
Hmm.
There's a commentary off option on the DVD. So I do that because I enjoy watching wrestling with no commentary just because I'm weird. You can still hear Jim Cornette. He's like, it's full on like yelling commentator Jim Cornette. And I cannot imagine how it must have felt being somebody in the building for that shit.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I was like, God damn, Jimmy, you can just talk like a regular human being. I haven't watched it in like 15 years, but that was like my big thing. Was like, God damn, man, chill out. Like you have Dave Prazak in the booth. It'll be all right. And they have the Ray and Kurt Angle match from that Saitama SmackDown, which is a very good match. For anybody that remembers Jack's Deluxe Aggression Series 1, Kurt's basically in that attire. That's like the weird thing I do now when I'm watching wrestling is like the second I see somebody, I immediately remember every action figure they have in that gear.
Yeah.
It's a sickness. Because like I was watching, I don't remember who I was watching with, but Kurt comes on, I'm like, oh hey, look, Deluxe Aggression 1 Kurt Angle. I'm pretty sure that's what he's in Day of Reckoning 2 as well. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's how my brain works. Anyway, all of this to say, those two shows get released on a DVD in 2008. Around the same time, they do the Diva Diaries '07, which is like a best of Divas '07 DVD with like the Diva Diaries that were on WWE.com, apparently.
Huh?
And then they do a 5 DVD set of the '02, '03, '04, '05, '06 Divas lingerie bikini shoots. And this sounds like a really weird thing for them to release in Japan until you see the segment that happens before Bradshaw brings the inflatable lizard out, where Tori Wilson takes the kimono off, and it's just like there were no horny police in Saitama that night, or else that crowd would have been fucking arrested.
No, that
It was
definitely sounds like something to release in Japan for sure. If you ever try looking up wrestling DVDs on Bai,
oh yeah,
like
yeah, no.
yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
It's just like the trivia question: what are the 3 Japanese exclusive WWE DVDs? And granted, the box set is five DVDs that got released here. I said five DVDs that got released here, but not as a box set. So
Right.
in like '08, you could go into a store in Japan and buy DVDs that had like Terry Runnels on them.
Yeah.
And she hadn't been around in like fucking like what, 4 years? Maybe 5?
What year was it again? Sorry.
Came out in '08. I think the box set did.
So yeah, she was probably last here, what, like 2003?
That's my guess, like '03, maybe '04. I don't remember if she hosted that one weekend show that Ivory ended up hosting, Experience or
Oh,
whatever the fuck.
uh, yeah, I think was it was it XS or something like that?
She hosted that one, yeah. But
Oh,
that
okay.
isn't that like '02?
I think so. Yeah. I know Ivory hosted Sunday Night Heat with Todd Grisham.
I
Because
think they were the ones that hosted that experience show too on like Saturday morning or whatever.
I always remember that one line she said about Mohammed Hassan, which I was like, wow. Where she's like, oh, Mohammed Hassan's on the card tonight, and she's like, Todd, did you fly to the city today or the arena today? Like making a
Jesus.
reference to. I was like, holy shit. Like even as a kid, well, I don't know how old I was at the time, but I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's well, nobody was paying attention. It was Sunday Night Heat. That's the best guess I've got for
I think it was.
how
I
that
think it
got
was one of
through.
them. Yeah, it was. It would have been through like a pre-show of the pay-per-view. It was cool when they turned Heat
Oh,
into that.
yeah. So the tape trading community is wild because after a certain point, people stopped recording the 30-minute like preview shows from the pay-per-view channel.
Yeah.
Like if you were trying to buy a pay-per-view, it would not say with pre-show anymore. It would say with Sunday Night Heat.
Yep.
And I referenced the barbed wire cage match with Bradshaw and Tall Paul. There's a what is it, Hardcore Holly and Charlie Haas versus Kenzo and Rene Dupree match that I had no memory of, and I found it on YouTube. And I'm like, I'm gonna watch this because it's on Heat, and why would it be on Heat? And then the like you see for like 3 frames the barbed wire cage, and I was like, oh right, yeah, I watched this episode of Heat, and all of a sudden did not want to order the pay-per-view because it's just barbed wire around the top of the cage. They're not going to touch it.
Lame. Yeah. Didn't Hogan and Flair do the same thing?
Yeah, and
Was it
like
99?
WCW magazine had to have like the censored pictures or whatever the fuck. Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Um,
Not quite Onita and Hayabusa.
no, no. Oh, also, I did find. Speaking of Hayabusa, it's ironic. I found that Live in Japan '05 DVD on eBay from the House of Hayabusa, which is apparently in St. Louis. Who would have guessed?
Yeah,
And
not me.
my tracking hasn't updated in like 3 days.
Oh.
Stop me if you've heard this before on this show fucking recently.
I think I actually saw that DVD on buy recently because I actually bought an unopened pack of Fire Pro card battles
Oh, nice.
just for the hell of it, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think I'll ever open them, but I was just like, for some reason I've had it in my mind recently that I want like stuff sealed, and I was like, well, that's something different, and then I bought like a copy of Super Fire Pro Wrestling 2 for the PC Engine, and
Nice.
I'm I'm trying to get D as well. That sounded weird, but I don't know. I'm just in that frame of mind where I'm like, I just want the stuff that's sealed because I see people like buying like copies of like Virtual Pro. There's someone on I can't remember who it was, but on Twitter that has like multiple copies of Virtual Pro 2. And I was like, and they're
SK
getting some.
Styles?
Maybe it is him. I don't know, but I think some of them were sealed maybe. And I was like, oh damn, I wonder what it'd be like to get that. And Virtual Pro 2 is like ridiculously priced now. It's like you can't find it anywhere for like less than seems like $130 or something like that.
It's
Of
around
course,
that for just a complete in box copy. I can't even imagine what sealed goes for.
yeah. So I was like, well, that's out of the question. I don't want to pay that much. And I was like, is there anything else I can get? Oh, Fire Pro D and the PC Engine games and stuff. I think there's some copies of Tokon 3 that are sealed out there. And so I was like looking at that and I was like, yeah, I might as well. Card battle is like something I'll never ever get to do. So I was just like, ah, that's a unique thing. So I'll just grab that.
It's funny you mentioned getting sealed stuff. I realized my copy of Mania 19 on DVD had gone missing,
Mm-hmm.
and I went on eBay and like used it's very like reasonably priced. It's not like 17 where like you have to like give half of your kidney and 2/3 of what's in your fridge plus about $50 to get it. But I was scrolling. I'm like, oh, $13. Oh, that one's missing the insert. Oh, those discs don't look great. And then I just saw when it was sealed for like $40, and it comes in like a protector, which I don't know why I didn't think they made DVD protectors, but I was like gobsmacked by the fact that they did. And I was like, you know what, buddy, you got it. I'll buy your sealed copy of Mania 19. Have I ever told the story about the day I got that DVD before we go on to other
No.
things? Okay. So, in the town next to where I currently live, it's the town I work in now. There was a big strip mall. One end was Kmart. The other end was J.C. Penney. About halfway through was Sam Goody, which, for those that don't know, is like an FYE DVD video game music type store. my parents were going to JCPenney, and mom was like, "Well, go to Sam Goody. Just see if you can find anything you want." Mom gives me $20. I walk in, and right there it is. It's WrestleMania 19, and I'm like, "Oh, buddy, it's like 30." So I leave all of my money on the counter and the DVD, and I'm like, "I'll be right back." I fucking bolt out of Sam Goody like the goddamn Ultimate Warrior. I trip in front of the Rent-A-Center, fall, skin the shit out of my knee, somehow roll through this, and I end up just like fucking running into JCPenney. I get into JCPenney, and I was like, "Mom," like loudly, thinking like this is gonna be like the bat signal, but like a sonic version of it because I'm saying it and not showing anything. And I don't realize this, but my knee, it's not bleeding really bad, but it's like visibly all tore up. And my mom's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, yeah, I need like $12. And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "They got WrestleMania 19." And mom was like, "Oh, okay." So my mom gave me 15, and I get back down to Sam Goody, and now there's like some blood. It's not bad. There's like two little trickles down my leg, and the girl at Sam Goody was like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Yeah, here's the money. I want you to ring me up real quick." And like as I'm walking out of Sam Goody to go back to JCPenney, my parents come around the corner, and mom's like, "Yeah, we're going to Kmart." And I'm like, "Sick, let's go." And this was around the time that like it's gonna sound weird to anybody that doesn't have familiarity with that period where like wrestling figures were not hot anymore. But I walked in, and this was the era of like the grapple gear with slime and the Flexums, and like kind of the bullshit they were putting out to try to remain relevant in the toy aisle,
Right.
and none of it worked.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this stuff, and I'm like, there's no Ruthless Aggression, which was new at the time. I think Series 3 might have started shipping from Ringside around this point, because once that line started, it felt like they were just pumping shit out constantly. Um, so I don't get anything, but I get home, and I'm like, the first thing I did was I watched every single extra on that DVD. Like Edge taking the tour of Safeco Field, which is ironic because Edge doesn't end up on the show. Like the Mania recaps, like all that shit. And then I sat down and I watched the whole show through, because the night of the pay-per-view, my aunt started yelling at me to go to bed right about the time the entrances for Jericho and Shawn Michaels. So she spared me having to see that match. But I wake up the next morning to a handwritten note from my cousin Chris on my keyboard saying, "Goldberg will be at Backlash. Brock did the shooting star press." And I'm like, motherfucker. Like I had to miss that because our VCR was like toast at that point. It would play tapes, it wouldn't record them.
I don't think we bought that one. I think I borrowed a tape from someone at school the next day. Yeah, because I was still
Well,
in
don't
school
feel
at the
bad.
time.
Nobody bought that one.
Right. But yeah, it was just we used to get them a lot during that point, and just for some reason we didn't get that, I don't believe.
I know like the chances of that show ever getting posted in full on the vault are like negative because it has Benoit on it. And also, if it does get posted on the vault, it's going to be the shitty WWE Network version with Voodoo Child edited off and the different
Yeah.
opening video.
hmm
But like, look, I'm a big Mania 17 guy. I've talked about on the show that was a huge deal to me when I was a kid. The My Way video is awesome. 19 bell to bell, end to end in terms of wrestling is a much better show.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
you've got the Michaels and Jericho match. I remember being really good at the time. Vincent Hogan was at least entertaining.
that match is insane. Like
Yeah.
that match is ridiculous. It should not be good, but it is.
And then of course the main event.
Yeah, Brock and Angle is great. Austin and Rock have an awesome fucking match, especially when you
Oh
factor
yeah.
in how fucked up Austin was.
I completely forgot that was on that show.
And you know what's crazy? The worst match on both shows involves Triple H.
What a shock.
Yeah, that match being shitty is not Booker's fault.
That whole match is just
Shameful.
that we were on the anniversary of Triple H and Sting a few days ago. Was it a few days ago? Yeah, and
Like a week or two.
I every time that match comes up, I just get like not furious, but like annoyed of how goddamn stupid that match was.
Oh, I remember saying it like the night it happened. I'm gonna laugh so fucking hard when Triple H puts himself over because there was no fucking chance Sting was winning.
The whole thing was like the whole feud up to that point was Sting coming in to help the babyfaces against the Authority. I mean, that's why he debuted at Survivor
Yeah.
Series. And then the day of, all of a sudden, it's about WCW versus WWE years
Oh,
after
it's not even the
WCW was
day
dead.
of. No, remember the Go Home Raw. Sting comes out and goes, "This isn't about WWE versus WCW. That ended 15 years ago. It'd be a little pointless to fight that battle now." And then Stephanie McMahon comes out and immediately is like, "This is about WWE versus WCW." And it's like, oh no, he's losing on Sunday.
Oh, God.
And then it becomes like the NWO and DX run ins, which made me laugh when it happened. Cause, like, yeah, why not, man? And Hulk's out there and he's like fucking moving. People thought like he was going to work another match because he was like, he wasn't immobile like he was in TNA.
Well, it's a good idea to have Waltman eat his punches, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Waltman's the one that's working with Hulk in that whole thing. But like, yeah, what a stupid fucking thing. And all the people like, oh, well, that should have been his retirement match. Get fucked. His retirement match was perfect.
Oh, yeah. Why did they had like the whole Japanese like drum ceremony for his entrance? I never really understood the why.
Why was he the fucking vigilante instead of? Oh, I'm sorry. The Icon is Shawn Michaels' nickname. I'm sorry. I forget.
God, that whole run, just what a waste of time.
And you know they have like the custom introductions for him in the 2K games where he doesn't get the exact same introduction as everybody else. Why not have Justin Roberts or whoever the fuck the ring announcer is at least jack the people off this much? Have him read the fucking Starcade '97 shit
Why would you?
as like an introduction.
Why could 2K license the WCW theme and WWE wouldn't bother using it?
Oh no! See, here's the thing. They licensed it because it's on that WCW music album they put out.
That's
They
right.
just
Yeah,
didn't want to use it because they wanted their fucking version of the Sting theme. This was their version of Sting,
like
and it's the
Goldberg,
worst
right?
version of them ever. You know what's crazy? Go on the WWE Vault and watch any of the '03 Goldberg matches. He does not have that theme.
Yeah, they edited it out. That's pretty funny.
They dubbed in fucking Invasion, and it's like, oh, this is a fucking funny concession for you guys to make. You guys are like, oh no, we'll just make a song that sounds kind of, sort of, maybe like his fucking WCW thing. By the way, I have a friend, shout out to Sheaf, who for like years was like, no, it's the same song, and I'm like, have you listened to them? They're pretty different. Like,
Yeah, I've heard
what?
people say like the WWE one's bad, and I'm like, how could you possibly say that?
Because that was the version of Goldberg they knew.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because on Mania 19, Goldberg's debut's an extra. It's
Oh,
Invasion on that.
yeah, yeah. They had it originally, then they switched it, and then I feel like the crowd response wasn't as good. Like the moment he switched these, everyone was probably like, "What the fuck? Why? Why would you do that?"
Yeah, I remember seeing like I want to say it might have been like super early in Mania 19's development cycle, but like I remember seeing his entrance in that game. And for full disclosure, I really wasn't watching Raw like that in '03
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about the game. That's fine. I'll watch the guys I like on Thursday. It's okay. But I remember hearing his theme because I watched it at the library because this was one of the many times that my cousin, while I was sleeping, looked up a bunch of weird fucked up porn and my computer ended up suffering the consequences. And I'm like sitting there and I turn the volume up and I'm like, is the sound messed up on this video? And I watched the video like 5 times and I'm like, which by the way, watching videos was a no-no at the library. I think I've gone over that before. But I'm like, that's not Goldberg's music. What the fuck is this? Oh, also, I used to print IGN and GameSpot articles for games I was excited about at the library. 10
Yeah, I'd
cents
do
a
that.
page.
Yeah, I had like
So
Fire Pro and stuff from Wrestling video games printed off at the library.
I walked up there once with like a GameSpot article, and there's like a screenshot of Goldberg from his entrance, and the woman is looking at me like I've just printed the most fucked up porn she's ever looked at in her life.
Nice.
And I'm just like, yeah, that's Goldberg. Who's
Yeah,
next?
I don't know if I've told this before. I think I might have, but there was one time. Well, I used to go to the library all the time, never to read books. It was just like look up wrestling games and stuff. And I found out you could listen to theme songs online, which is not something I really knew about. And I clicked on the Truth Commission's theme song, and I didn't realize the speaker was like the volume was all the way up. So just like throughout the library, it was like blum blum blum, like the Truth Commission like stomping, and Howard Finkel going coming down the aisle, and I was like, oh shit, because it was so loud, and I like got a shock, and like the woman came over and I was like, you can't, you've got to turn that down. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
God, that's like when I had the thematic CD going in the car on the way to school in 7th grade, and as soon as I fucking opened the door, it switched from like the Evolution theme to the fucking Heidenreich theme. Ain't no explaining that one, buddy.
There's a guy I did a project with, and in computer science class, and like no, didn't seem to have any interest in wrestling. Didn't talk to me about it or anything. All of a sudden, one day he's just playing Tajiri's theme song, and I'm like, huh? I was like, this is Tajiri's theme. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, all right. Like he doesn't like, yeah, watch wrestling or anything. It's just like all of a sudden popped up, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh God, it was always weird finding like other members of the group, so to speak, just randomly. Like there was a kid that I'm pretty sure I had never heard him say like one word about wrestling other than like the typical "I'm not gay, I don't watch that shit" type stuff that was really prevalent
Mm.
when I was a kid. I don't know if it was when you like. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know how it was up there.
yeah.
And one day I go to fucking um Family Video to rent whatever I'm up there to rent. I don't. This kid had like all of the Xbox WWE games in his hand, and he's like talking to his mom, like, "Yeah, this one's got Goldberg." And I was like, "Wait, I thought you didn't like wrestling." And he's like, "Why would you think that?" I'm like, "Would you like me to repeat what you said to me at school like 5 hours earlier?"
Mm.
Jesus Christ. And like the people I would see, like just looking at the action figures and shit, and it's like, oh, really? You're buying Bubba Ray Dudley. Why aren't you buying Devon? Or you're buying
Ah,
Devon. I'm glad you're not buying Bubba because he sucks.
there's a kid at school that hated me for whatever reason. And I remember him bringing the Raw magazine with Deborah on the cover and the puppies. And I remember like the French teacher like confiscated it, and there was a big talk about it between like the teachers and stuff. It was kind of funny.
So we had to bring a sports magazine in for book club in 5th grade. And I was like, cool, WWE magazine. I didn't bring it with me to school, but my mom brought it in. And the office was like just in shambles that I had this magazine where Tori Wilson's like half naked. Yeah, okay, that's probably inappropriate for school. And it's like, well, here's all these pictures of people bleeding. And I'm like, yeah, it rocks. What's the issue?
Yeah, I wore the Blood from a Stone shirt, and I don't think anyone except for like the girl behind me said anything about it. Um, I remember in elementary school, in kindergarten and grade one, I used to like cry every single day when I got to school because A, I didn't want to
Oh, me
be
too.
there, and B, I was probably tired because the whole my whole life I've always never gotten enough sleep. I'm always tired, so like I just did not want to be there. They used to put me in this basically a closet. It was like there was a door and a small window, but they turned the lights off and they used to put me in there, which looking back was probably not the right thing to do. But anyway,
No.
and I think I don't know if it was kindergarten or grade one, but the guidance counselor, for whatever reason, he had a meeting with my parents and suggested taking away all my wrestling figures. Like I don't even know why that was a suggestion, but my parents were like, absolutely not. No, we're not going to do that to him. So yeah, they didn't go anyway. But what a cruel thing to say.
Yeah, I think back to how many I had as a kid. Like, good fucking luck taking those from me.
Yeah, I
Jesus
think
Christ.
I might have had a meeting with him with my parents, and I might have been playing with my LGNs or something at the time. But yeah, I mean, I used to take them places. I think I mentioned this before, but we went to a bar, like a bar slash restaurant. We were watching WrestleMania 7, and I took my Hasbro with me and was playing with them on the table and stuff. Good times.
I had to talk to the guidance counselor the day that Raw magazine got brought, and she was like horrified. Like the gym teacher was like, "Just don't ever bring this to school again, man. Like I
Yeah,
know this is what you're into, but like fucking." She was like, "You watch this on television?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I do."
yeah,
It
a lot of
was
people did.
the dumbest fucking shit, man. Like that was the same year. I know I've told the story, but like my teacher's like, "Wow, one of my students really likes wrestling. I'm going to turn this on." Anyway, the next day, I get called up to the fucking desk, and she's like, "So I was watching wrestling last night, and this happened to be the first Raw that I'd watched in weeks. This is the Triple H and the funeral home thing." And she's like, "And there was a wrestler," and I'm like, "Listen, I yesterday was Monday. I only watch wrestling on Thursdays."
Yeah, it's a good way to get
I
in with
don't.
it.
Whatever happened last night, I don't know what happened, but that sounds like something that happens on that. That's not the wrestling I watch. And it's like around the same time they're doing the fucking thing where like Brock and Heyman have the woman come out and say that like she had an affair with the Undertaker or
Mm,
whatever because Vince just
yeah,
fucking found out what a soap opera was. And like they have those things plus like the HLA thing running, the Tori and Dawn thing starting. Like anybody who's like, oh no, the ruthless aggression era had way less like bullshit than the attitude era needs to watch like that specific like 3 month period of '02
yeah. I mean, it came off as so desperate. Like they were throwing everything they could to try and
because
get some
numbers were
attention.
way down.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't come back up for a while. Like
No,
it's like '04, I think, when things start to kind of turn around a little bit.
yeah. It was they
And
were trying
then
to go. They felt like, well, we need to return to Crash TV when it felt like it had already run its course at that point.
yeah, and they were also like trying to be a work rate promotion too, because like people have argued with me on this. When you put fucking Benoit and Eddie and Angle and Rey Mysterio and fucking, I guess you could throw Edge in that group too, because he was all right when he was with those guys on the same show with the fucking cruiserweight division and your world champions, like the 300-pound like freak athlete guy that like chucks people on their fucking head and shit. If you're not trying to be a work rate show at that point, what the fuck are you trying to be?
Yeah,
And by the
because
way, you center your tag team titles around quote unquote work rate.
yep.
I don't know, man. And also, one of my friends said this to me like 12, 13 years ago. Like, SmackDown in '02 in particular is like a masterclass in booking once the brand split like takes hold. Cause like, put the good wrestlers with the good wrestlers, the shitty wrestlers with the shitty wrestlers, it all works itself out.
Well, they did a good job of the shows having their own identity, and I guess they did too when they first started Friday Night SmackDown, and they added like the different camera angles and stuff. And then they gave up on that, and then everything just felt the same again. So
Yeah, I remember. So in the US, we only got like an hour of that show. If you had the network or even Peacock, the 2 hour international version was the version on there, which blew my fucking mind because I didn't realize there was a 2 hour episode for that.
mm,
But there's like all the different angles and shit during like the Ray and Eddie cage match and the Batista JBL bull rope match. And I was like, wow, this looks really different from how SmackDown usually looks. And yeah, you're right. Like that doesn't last at all. Like nothing lasts.
yeah, but I was also meaning like when they first brought it was like was it Brian and Shane were like the general managers, and like they had a bit of a different set than Raw, and at that time they were using like different camera angles and stuff. If you remember the
Oh, okay, that version of SmackDown.
yeah,
Yeah.
but and that felt different too, and then they just gave up on it because they always do, and then just made everything the same again.
Remember when they changed the show to SmackDown Live?
Yes, yeah.
Like that was going to make a fucking
Oh
difference.
boy, now I need to watch it.
And it's very funny that they had. I swear to God, we're going to talk about SVR 07 in that Steve Rosenthal interview. I swear to God, we will. It's very funny because there's all the evidence that like taped episodes really don't matter. You're gonna do probably about the same number you're gonna do regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Like people made like a big thing about the dynamite on Christmas or whatever the fuck. Like it's not like, yeah, it's on Christmas.
Yeah.
How did the
Well,
rest of the tape dynamites do? About the same? What a
yeah.
shock. And like the same thing would happen. Like you remember when they would double up on like SmackDown tapings? I went to one of those in '09. The live, not the live, the first run episode didn't do well. Those were both taped. That's a horrible example. When they would double up on Raw tapings, like the taped episode wouldn't do that much worse.
No.
Because I don't think it's very easy to come up with like the really online excuses of like, well, there's spoilers out there. Listen, when I worked at the Walmart in the fucking department I was in, there were like basically everybody, but like four of us were like wrestling fans. Do you know how many people I knew of in that department that actively sought out any sort of wrestling news? It was me and the department manager.
That's
Was it?
such a shitty excuse anyway, because like if you read the spoilers and the matches are good and it sounds like a good show, like you want to watch it. You know what I mean? That's like,
Yeah.
well, put on a good show then.
Yeah, I've never liked that excuse because like I would read the spoilers as a kid, and if a show sounded really good or like something noteworthy happened, I would be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna make the attempt to be around on Thursday night or when SmackDown moved to Friday in '05 the first time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll make the conscious decision to be around for that. But
Yeah.
like,
I was never like, oh, this sounds good, I don't want to watch it.
yeah. And like, I know I've referenced this before when we talked about like SmackDown '07, because that game comes out right around the end of like me going to HeroClix tournaments and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when Ken Kennedy won the US title for the first time, that was like a Friday night HeroClix tournament at my local card shop. And it started at like 5 or 5:30, and I was like, we got to have this shit wrapped up by 8 because fucking Ken Kennedy's winning the US title tonight, and I got to be home for that shit. And like, I kind of miss when they had the spoilers just on WWE.com, which they stopped in like the summer of '02 because one of their excuses for why the ratings were down is like, well, SmackDown's down because of the spoilers. No, SmackDown's down for the same reason Raw's down. Like, people don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny to think about that mid 2000s boom, not just the weird one they had in Japan, but like Mania 21 smashes Mania 17. It's like not an insignificant number of buys that it does over 17. And I remember dunking on someone a few years ago, and by a few I mean like 6, for saying like, "Oh, we were headed for a new boom period," and then Benoit Gate happened, and I was like, "The fuck we were." But you look back, Mania 23 was a really big deal, even independent of Trump's involvement, because I remember people I knew that hadn't watched wrestling in years bought that show because Shawn and Undertaker were challenging for the titles.
Right.
And I remember the buzz about that started when they were the final two in the Rumble. Because, like, what are the odds in 2007 that was going to happen? Like, I remember when it came down to them and Rated RKO, I was like, all right, so fucking, like, Shawn and Orton? Give me the final two here? No, it's Shawn and Taker. And Taker won, so I was like, fuck yeah, it wasn't Shawn. But, like, I was watching Batista and Taker from 23 with a friend of mine that hadn't seen it in a long time the other night, and I was like, around this time, they're pumping out all of those archival DVDs. And I knew people on like Wrestling Figs and other boards that they stopped watching like in the Attitude Era, but they came back because they saw like the DVDs and shit, and they gave watching the current product another try, which is really funny to say about like '07 WWE, but '07 WWE looks like goddamn Mid-South compared to what we've got on television now in a lot of ways. And like the Classics line brought people back in. There's a lot
Yeah.
of anecdotal evidence about that. And like, this is, early '07. SmackDown '07 had a ton of buzz when it came out. I don't think it's the best wrestling game ever. I do think it's probably the best SmackDown versus Raw game. But like, things really felt hot. And then, dun 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 dun, and
Roosh?
then they so hot anymore. I wish. God, do you remember? Do you remember when people fucking started watching those Friday night free CMLL streams and started crying on Twitter about him using that song? And Meltzer had to be like, "Yeah, I hate to tell you this, but that whole incident doesn't really mean anything to fans outside of like North
Mexico.
America.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he did wrestle for CMLL in the '90s. He was not a big star. I don't even like. I remember interviews with like a lot of Japanese talent after that whole thing happened, and by that whole thing I mean the double murder suicide. And it was like it kind of felt like it was a big deal on some weird level in Japan, but also like he hadn't been a regular in New Japan at that point for over a decade.
Well, didn't they make Devitt Pegasus Kid after?
No, before that was '06.
Was it before? Okay.
Yeah, because
Wrestle
that
Land.
was yep the WrestleLand and Lockup the brand split. I only remember that because that was my introduction to Devitt, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's pretty good."
That was crazy shit. They brought Vader back for those. They had the Gaspers back.
And
The
there's like
goddamn
fucking no
pirate tag
footage of
team.
any of it anymore.
Yeah.
It like Vader was in the Makai Club because they brought the Makai Club back for those shows too.
Yeah. I think it might have even more like his old attire, like early New Japan. With
I
like
think
the
he had.
lightning.
I think he had the mask. I think the singlet was the one he wore when he wrestled Suwama in All Japan.
Oh, okay.
That's just me going off of pictures I remember seeing from 20 years ago. I do remember he was in really bad fucking shape
Yeah.
and could barely get into the ring at that time.
I think after that he got hurt at like I don't think it was a DDT show, but it was like maybe a Vader tribute show? I think he was teaming with might it be Mammoth Suzuki was his partner? I can't remember. But I remember he got like
You might
hurt
be
on one
right
of
on
those
that,
shows.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but no, the Pegasus Kid thing was discontinued after that. Tanahashi was wearing trunks that looked exactly like Randy Orton trunks, and
Oh
he
yeah.
wears those when he beats Nagata to get the belt back in October of '07. He's wearing them in that match, and that might be the only time he wears those on like a big main New Japan show.
Yeah, that's a weird fact, I guess.
Yeah, we were like, oh, Tanahashi watches WWE, huh?
Yeah. Well, he was a big fan of Jeff Hardy, as we saw when he was at the airport.
I love that picture so much.
That's kind of goofy on New Japan's part, though. I mean, they sent them there for publicity.
It could have also just been the thing like how Takayama used to just attend the fucking sumo hall shows every year.
But wasn't it like I don't think they just sent like Tanahashi, wasn't Nagata there as well?
Might have been, yeah. Remember the
Yeah.
rumors in '07 that WWE and New Japan were going to work together, and they were going to send Benoit over to wrestle Nagata, and then the shit went down, and it's like, oh well, there's still negotiations for Batista to wrestle Yuji Nagata on the October 7th Sumo Hall show.
Right.
Buddy, I fucking wish.
Being
Can you
interesting,
imagine fucking peak
the
Big Dave
connection
against Nagata?
Yeah, the battle of the Batista bite versus Nagata lock. It would have been interesting though. I mean, they had the connection with Ukes, but I mean that's about as far as it went.
Yeah, I just remember seeing like the fucking like, oh, Benoit might wrestle Yuji Nagata this year, and I was like, oh man, because they have one match ever, and it was at Hera Arena, which is 45 to 50 minutes from where I'm standing right now, and I didn't get to go. Granted, I didn't know that match happened till like 15 years later.
So it's always weird to see like guys that were juniors in New Japan working like the heavyweights from New Japan when they went to WCW. Like you said, Nagata and Benoit, but you also had like Jericho in that mini feud of Chono. And it's like, obviously that would never happen in New Japan. And it's very strange. You know what I mean? Considering like their places on the card and the divisions that they were in and stuff. It just seems strange when you look back on it.
Speaking of that WCW New Japan thing, shoutouts to Not That Tom Green. I didn't realize that WCW announced a Scott Norton Booker T IWGP title match, and New Japan were like, "Can you stop having our belt being defended against like mid card guys?"
Didn't he defend it against Disco Inferno?
I think him and Van Hammer. Yeah,
Oh my god. Yeah, like the New
like
Japan.
Booker
They,
versus Scott Norton. That's a fucking heater.
yeah, that would have been a fun match, but like, they didn't defend them the way that the belts were defended in America, especially at the time. It's like every time a champion came out, the belt was on the line. It felt like.
Yeah, I remember the whole thing with them wanting to discontinue the relationship over how they swapped the junior title,
Oh yeah, with Liger
the tequila bottle.
and Juventud. Yeah, I think the only other connection around that time, well, there was Muta, but there was like Shono and Mike Rotunda randomly showed up as Team 2000 around that time for like against. I think didn't they go against like Rick Steiner and somebody?
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
I remember it just being like so strange that they were there and then they were gone.
And then they do like the varsity club and
Yeah,
WCW briefly towards the end, and they do it in Japan also because
yeah,
why the fuck not?
they went to Old Japan. Yeah.
I don't remember. Did we get Mike Rotunda and fucking King of Coliseum Red?
Yes. Yeah.
God, that's such a horrible fucking thing.
And then they went to IWA Japan when IWA Japan had like a bunch of American talent and it was like a very strange promotion. It's like you've got Boss Man and DiBiase's like the commissioner or something and Duggan and the Varsity Club. And it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's like
not quite the headhunters putting each other through glass.
no. Although I wish Bossman had done a glass spot just because. I loved Bossman.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll talk about SmackDown '07 for a moment, and we can move on to Steve Rosenthal, which also requires me to pull the interview back up. Um, so when we reviewed the game, I think I mentioned at the time, Xenia was a fucking a hurdle on the Steam Deck. I looked up a tutorial thanks to somebody on Reddit of how to get like bypass Xenia and use Canary and what command line prompts you edit and stuff. And shout outs to my friend Doug for uploading his copy of '07 for me so I could test it. And I've been playing it. And I had '07 on the PSP. And emulating PS2 games at this point really isn't like the novelty's kind of gone. I'm just like, yeah, this is something I do now. Sometimes I'll be like, man, I'm playing Def Jam Vendetta on a handheld. That's crazy. But seeing SmackDown '07 running on a handheld like blew my mind. Even more than seeing TNA Impact, which I think is probably a better looking game.
Yeah.
Because like I remember the first screenshot of that game, the Rey Mysterio one, like Mania weekend in '06, and just going, holy fucking shit, SmackDown's on the 360 and it looks like that. Because it's got a very early 360 look to it. Like the lighting is fucking crazy.
Is that the one seen on Angle where they had like
Oh yeah, the CG trailer with the light tubes. Yeah,
yeah, and that was the demo as well, if I remember correctly. I remember playing that quite a bit. Was Cena versus Angle?
the demo, at least in the US, that I remember was Kane and Triple H.
Really, I could have sworn it was Cena and Angle, but then
I
again, I'm
want to
old.
say I want to say it was Kane and Triple H only because I remember one of my friends was like, "Hey, have you tried the '07 demo?" And he was on the phone with me, and I'm like, "Fucking no, but I guess I'm about to." He's like, "Yeah, it's fucking Kane and Triple H," and I was like, "It's okay. I got Kane. That's I like him."
Yeah,
And
I didn't end up buying it, but I just remember the demo I played a lot of.
I played a ton of the demo. I got the game on release. It worked on my Japanese 360. Life was good. Um, so like seeing it on the handheld and also probably running at a higher resolution. No, absolutely running at a higher resolution than I had seen it running when I owned it previously because I had a 19-inch CRT. That was standard def, buddy. And it's like so crazy because the game looks so good, and I'm like, the first song I hear when I load it up is "Forgive Me" by Versus the World, and I'm like, immediately I'm like, there. It's a fucking Friday night in 2006. We just got done watching fucking whatever Degrassi episode was on, and now me and my friend Aaron are gonna like load this shit up and play GM mode and just do a bunch of dumb shit because the 360 version was the one that I had, obviously, and I used to hate the analog controls. I don't mind them now, especially like it's not like the '08 and on version where two of your strong grapples lock you into the ultimate control move, so your move set is basically cut in half. And I hated those fucking ultimate control moves. They were terrible. Horrible fucking idea. They sucked. And also '07, they're not reversible at all. So like say we're playing, right? And I pick you up and I put you on the rope and I do like the rope straddle bounce you on your nuts thing, right?
Yeah.
In '08, '09, 2010 onward, for however long it's in, you can counter that. In '07, the AI will just walk you to the hot spots and you're just going to take this damage for however
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, I think the counter animation was like this awkward splash or something.
Yeah, like you like on the way up, you just kind of like fucking flop off the top rope onto them. Yeah. It was funny. This was the game that had the monitor cord choking hotspot animation.
Right.
I don't think I need to circle back for the reason it was removed in SmackDown '08. Yeah, Benoit. And I was saying this to you before we started recording. I've been playing a bit of the season mode, and that shit with the frustrating AI and the over reliance on handicap matches that was just a big deal in every wrestling game during this era. Like, it's a reminder of when like the single player modes were kind of fun. Like, it's not Road to WrestleMania where there's 5 fucking people you can play as. There's like a decent number of people that did voiceovers. The stories are really goofy. Like, I'm playing as Angle, and I got the storyline where like you beat Big Show in a match, and then here comes Chavo and Daivari, and they're in a group with Carlito, and then you tell Big Show, I'm not with these motherfuckers. So you have a tag match where you team with Big Show, and Chavo and Daivari, since they're both cruiserweights, literally can do nothing to either of you. Because the cruiserweights are just nerfed to fucking high hell in that game. It is so fucking funny.
I think I remember playing this when we reviewed it, because I do remember a storyline involving Big Show and Chavo and Carlito, and it's just like, yeah, Chavo and Carlito, that's a hell of a stable.
And like you get the fucking voicemail from Daivari screaming at you if you don't side with those guys. That's so good. And you know, like the Benoit and Undertaker one, which is like 2 years in a row, Undertaker's in a storyline with somebody that ends up dying. And it's kind of crazy how he's just never been investigated for these things. And Benoit's voiceovers are really fucking funny. Because he's like doing the angry Benoit voice for all of them. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, you're having a regular conversation in the back. You don't need to be like, I'm not for me elephants. It's not that angry, but it's pretty close.
I wonder what's like considered like the worst wrestler voiceover. There's nothing that comes to me at the top of my head.
Rene Dupree, WrestleMania 21. That's the gold fucking standard.
Yeah.
He's just like flatly reading those. Like, oh, tonight you have to defeat me in 3 minutes. Like, okay. You wanna Shelton in the original SVR, when you find out you're wrestling somebody in an ultimate submission match, he's like, oh, an ultimate submission match. That's a tough one. And it's like, Shelton, I love you, man. Can we do another take?
It's gotta be so awkward though, because you know, they like to pretend they're trained actors, and you know, there's a difference between doing it in front of a live crowd or even a promo, standing, you know, with another person as opposed to just sitting down at a table and here read these lines and pretend like, you know, it's actually happening or something. Just the wrestlers aren't suited for that.
No, and you know what's really crazy is like there are some that are like Kurt Angle in '06 and '07. He's good. Cena's all right. Tori Wilson's like surprisingly not awful in '06 in the Teddy Long storyline.
Which is that the one where he gets run over?
Oh yeah, and he takes like the crazy spiral bump.
Yeah, I remember making a video of that.
Oh yeah, I picked up '06 again too, just because like fuck it. And that's not a 9.2 out of 10. It's just objectively not. I think the IGN video review is really funny because Jeremy Dunham's like, you can chain up to 3 reversals. No, you can't. The fuck are you talking about? And he at one point in the video review goes, oh, it's a good thing our reviews can't be too long because I could talk all day about this game. And I'm like 3 minutes into a 5-minute review where he's basically said absolutely motherfucking nothing. Oh, he talks about how like in the previous games you could figure out a couple of money moves and just abuse those to get your to get a special. You mean like how in '06 if you play as a babyface, you do a flying elbow drop 2 seconds into the match, you have a finisher automatically?
Yeah.
Or like fucking you know what I've always hated about the clean and dirty system, and it's on full display in '07? Some guys' move sets are not designed for that system because like you can't play as Randy Orton as a babyface because one of his quick grapples is an eye poke and he has like the punch to the balls for the other one or on the ground. So like if season mode shifts you to being a babyface, you're fucked.
It's always annoyed me, and I mean they still do it now with the low blow ability, but they just do it in front of the referee, and it's just like, you know, nothing happens. It's like, I don't know. You think they could like animate the referee to like just not pay attention or just something, but no, they just do it in front of the referee, and it's part of the match.
And this was also from the era where like the ground like reversal counter is like a low blow like 90% of the time, which is always funny to me.
Yeah.
You could mocap somebody throwing a punch to the stomach.
Some of the animations that they choose for the reversals are just very, very strange.
The backflip out of the suplex that everybody does.
Oh god, yeah.
I'm willing to overlook the goofiness like that with like these games in particular because I genuinely think '07's fun. I'm only playing season mode though. I'm not playing exhibition matches yet because I actually kind of want to unlock everybody. But like this was them inching into simulation territory. This isn't like now where it's like we're the most authentic WWE experience ever. Okay, why is Brock Lesnar doing a spin kick?
I mean, everyone's got ragdoll now. That's not really, bodies don't bend like that.
You think Brock Lesnar's ever seen a spin kick, much less done one?
No.
That's all I'm saying. But no, I've been playing '07. I love the soundtrack for that game. There's like a bunch of songs that are in that game that I forgot about, like The Enemy by Godsmack, which I think was the SummerSlam theme that year. Like that started playing, and I was like, where the fuck have I heard this? And then the song actually gets started. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, no, this is in this game. Yeah, this was on my iPod in '06.
I don't think I liked any of the music in any of the games. Maybe like at some point, like When Worlds Collide by Powerman 5000, but like a lot of the music in those games I just was not a fan of, especially like Day of Reckoning. A lot of the like Free Me songs that they use for that soundtrack and stuff. I was just like, I don't like this stuff.
Fucking Breaking Benjamin and Swollen Members.
Nah, not my sort of thing.
And Zebrahead. SmackDown '07 is my favorite of the licensed soundtracks for those games. I don't hate the Day of Reckoning soundtrack. I do hate that it basically all got repurposed for SVR. Like these games sell a ton of units. Don't be fucking lazy.
One of the previous games of like the more modern eras had White Wedding by Billy Idol, and I was like, oh, all right, weird.
Didn't 2K16 have like Rebel Yell?
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, that would make more
Rebel
sense
Yell,
than White Wedding.
Rebel Yell, It's Tricky, and Youth Gone Wild. So like if you wanted to make fucking Zandig, brother. I think they might have uploaded one of the Good Time WWF videos on the vault page, actually. Because I don't think Most Unbelievable Matches is a Coliseum video. Oh god, it's hosted by fucking Percy Pringle himself.
Why don't they just like upload the cover art and
Because they do like the weird thing where they use the logo or whatever, but then they just slap a bunch of renders on it
yeah,
too.
it's
And
annoying because some of them are like inaccurate and I don't like it.
yeah, it's fucking annoying.
Did you see there's an FMW Vault channel now?
Yeah, it's a fan made channel.
Yeah, I know. I'm wondering how long it's gonna last because I know in the past FMW footage has been wiped off. So
I had a friend link me to that and completely like overlooked the a fan made archive part.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, brother, I hate to tell you, this is like the Bahu account. Um, I'm curious to see how long the stuff stays up. There's a Ouya and Hayabusa match on here. I probably need to grab because what they don't tell you is Hisakatsu Ouya was that motherfucker.
I really hated his hair, and then I was happy when he shaved it.
He was a guy that every time I would see something from FMW with him, I would be like, "No, he's really good." And then I saw him on like those '90s Muga shows that I got from like K Brada,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Oh no! Not only is he like really good, like he might actually be like bell to bell the best guy that FMW had." Kuroda's
Probably.
also in that conversation. Like Kuroda was fucking awesome. Also, Masato Tanaka was great. Mr. Ganasuke was awesome. I'm not shitting on Hayabusa. Like I get why people like him, but when I see like greatest Japanese wrestler, like he's not even the best wrestler in his home promotion, and that's not even a knock. Like there's Oya's awesome. Like there's great wrestlers in FMW. It's just I understand like the first guy that I saw is my favorite and like the
Yeah.
greatest, but like uh some of them I get. Like I understand. Like if you're like to me, Keiji Muto, Great Muta is like the greatest Japanese wrestler. I get it. If you say Liger, I really get it. Like really, any of the big All Japan guys, I understand. It's when you get to like Hayabusa and it's like he's the greatest Japanese wrestler, and it's like need you to watch a little bit.
People do stuff like that now. Like they see stuff like Julia as like the best women's wrestler in the world, as she was the best women's wrestler in Japan, and at no point was that true.
No, no. I mean, I've seen a fair share of like head ass takes with like this current person. Like I like Mercedes Monet as a wrestler. I think as a character, she really wore thin on me in AEW because what you can be a cartoon character like Timeless Tony Storm. She's like really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like shout outs to her. Um, but that program with her and Mercedes, it was like one of these characters feels like a relic of WWE from 10 years ago. The other is Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it also helps that Tony went a long way to reinvent herself, and but you're right,
yeah,
Mercedes. Yeah, definitely hasn't really changed much.
that's an actual reinvention, not the fucking Chris Jericho. I'm going to get a different entrance jacket and tights, and now I'm a different guy. Fucking bullshit.
He's home.
Um, yeah, I didn't watch Dynamite Wednesday. I was watching like I think I was watching like mid 2000s TNA and CZW and like Fed stuff because that's like where my brain's at. Like I'll watch anything from like 2002 to 2000 about seven right now. Doesn't matter what promotion. You got XPW, I'm watching it. It's fine. And one of my friends was like, hey, dude, have you seen what happened on Dynamite? And I'm like, no. Oh fuck, he came back. I canceled my HBO subscription. I told my friend like we planned to watch the AEW pay per view. We can do what we did last month instead of watching Revolution when we watched Living Dangerously 2000. And we can just watch like fucking I fucking lockdown '07 for all I give a shit.
I
And
thought it was funny that the crowd, they were chanting "fuck the tariffs," and I think they were chanting "fuck ice" at one point. It's in Winnipeg, and then like Chris Jericho gets a big ovation. Like I know he's like a hometown guy, but you know, it's just kind of funny to me. I think
literally had Trump Jr. on his podcast.
I think Winnipeg was the town where. Do you remember when the fans like crowded him outside and like he took a swing at uh a woman. I think that was in Winnipeg too, wasn't it? Do you remember that
That
video?
was somewhere in Canada. Yeah,
Yeah.
he sucks.
It was
He really sucks.
it was Tony was in the ring and like pyro was going off randomly every few seconds. It was sort of like the second hour of Nitro, and then there was a big display and he came out and I was just like, yeah, guess he's back. That doesn't
It
do
was like
anything
the
for
second
me.
hour of Nitro, and then a bloated fucking relic from 20 years ago or 10 years ago walked out.
So it was really like the second hour of Nitro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. AEW to me, it's like I watch Dynamite and I watch the pay-per-views. Dynamite, I find like I'm on my phone most of the time because like the matches just feel it's too much of the same. You know what I mean? It's just like we've got to have like this big match that's like 10 to 15 minutes and we're going all out. And it's like when you've seen two people go out and then the next people go out, it weighs thin on you. It's just like, I just don't need every match to be. Everything just feels the same. And I don't need that.
Yeah, I would prefer to not have every match wrestling like people are trying to get Dave Meltzer bricked up in their DMs.
Yeah, I need some sort of variety.
My thing is like, I hear like, oh, the wrestlers now are better than they've ever been. And it's like, can you distinguish a lot of the undercard AEW talent or WWE talent from one another?
Hmm.
Like, oh, this one does something different in their entrance. Okay. When the bell rings, do they do a dive? Yeah. Okay. Then they're like fucking 75% of the people on the same roster.
Yeah.
And I've also been watching like the developmentally speaking things on the High Spots Network. Like I watched the full Gallows, Tongaloa, Brad Attitude one with, the fuck Dr. Death story.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love that shit. And then like Myers references Cabana getting angry about Dr. Death. And I was like, well, I've got to see that. Cabana's whole thing was he hated reading, and Doc came in and gave them a fucking book, and nobody said anything about a test. And then he had to take the test, and he tries to copy off of Ray Gordy.
Oh my god.
Fucking, he just wrote Ray Gordy at the top of the test and fucking handed it in. And then he's like, so after the fact, I read the fucking book in case there was a quiz, and there wasn't a fucking quiz. And, like, they talk about like the differences in developmental, and honestly, being an OVW while Al Snow was there sounded like easy money because you weren't actually fucking training. You were just showing up to listen to that idiot talk for 6 hours.
Hmm.
But like, we've gotten to the point where people are just being trained to do fucking high spots. People think fundamentals are like, I put you in a headlock and I do like the fucking tiger spin, instead of the fundamentals being like how you start a match and how you build out from there. Nobody fucking throws punches and kicks really as like a means of offense anymore. There's no small moves. Nobody's grabbing a fucking ab stretch. Nobody's grabbing a fucking hold, because why would you do a hold when you can do 500 dives? And I saw a tweet, I think Ray sent it to me, from fucking Peter Rosenberg, where he's like, yeah, hey,
Oh.
if you're doing a dive, you should fucking stop because you're not going to stand out. They get no reaction. And I'm like, I hate that I agree with this guy.
Well, did you see where that came from? That all that started with?
No.
It's because Io, who's someone that like, was pretty spot on with her dives like the majority of the time, just happened to do one where her foot got caught on the rope and she landed head first on the outside mats.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was gross, but like of all the people to like all this hullabaloo about it, someone that's like very good at landing their dives just seemed to be sort of ridiculous.
I agree with the sentiment of what the guy's saying, though.
Hmm.
Like, we need way less dives in wrestling. We need way less like high spots as we know them now in wrestling, not the website. Like, people need to start grabbing fucking holds. And I know people like, well, the audience will think that's boring. You can train them to think fucking whatever you want. You train them to expect like 5 million head drops and dives. You can train them to expect fucking pro wrestling too.
I think the problem is, so like the WWE style is like if it's not all dives, then it's a lot of wrestles like it used to be, and that was very boring. Like when Randy Orton was at his worst. I don't think they at this point, I don't know if they know like a middle ground.
Well, no, because they're not training anybody for the middle ground anymore.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because they blew up the one fucking developmental territory that they ever had that trained people to
I've heard
work the
that
middle ground.
everyone always talks about Kendall Gray in NXT being very, very good, but I've never seen a match of hers.
I, I've seen her on Instagram, and I understand why the WWE audience would think she's good.
I think she was an amateur. I did see like a clip, and she was doing like like the drop to one knee and like go behind and stuff like that.
I'm skeptical of anybody in WWE's developmental. Like, I like Braun Breaker a lot. I really wish I could see what that guy would have been like if he was trained somewhere that they actually wanted to make people into pro wrestlers.
Yeah, he would have been fun in New Japan.
He would have had way better basics if he went to fucking New Japan.
Yeah, I saw again. I don't watch the show either, but there was a Twitter clip, and they had Tony D'Angelo looking like Bruiser Brody. I don't know if that's like something he's doing now, but that's what he looked like, and I was like, huh, it's kind of wild.
I didn't know there was an NXT show until I woke up this morning and checked the Observer website. Which, by the way, I'm not doing that ever again. We have people like this is F4W. Like, this is the site where you go to see the Observer. And there was an article a few days ago about Miles Bourne on how he started dating Stephanie Vicaire, and it's like, this is the fucking Observer website. Take that shit to Gerwig, motherfucker.
Well, their Facebook was like blatantly running, and Twitter as well actually had AI, obviously AI written articles, and I'm like, wow.
Is it
Like,
there's like a fucking, I can't pronounce the name and I don't remember where it is, but if you check the website first thing in the morning, there are articles that are really weirdly verbose in a way that doesn't make any sense.
mm,
And I think I've sent, it might not have been to you, but I've sent one to somebody before. It's Shonak Chakrabarti.
okay,
Like, this person's articles always fucking read like AI. Like, he wrote
yeah,
one about the Rock and Roll Express. Like, oh, the Rock and Roll Express appeared in WWE in 1993 and AEW, and it's like, fucking fuck that Jim Crockett Promotions run the shit people actually know him for, huh?
it's really gross, especially when you consider like Dave, actually wrote his newsletters and spent a hell of a lot of time writing them, and now to see all this AI bullshit on their website, it just feels wrong. I mean, it feels wrong in
And
general.
apparently Dave arguing with Grok on Twitter.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Apparently at some point he was arguing with Grok over the fucking ratings, is what I was told.
I don't know if I know you don't keep up with this sort of thing, but there's a lawsuit. Um, Alyssa Mercante, who used to write for Kotaku, she sued a guy called Smash GT, who is like one of those right wing grifters and had like thousands, like legit, at least hundreds of videos of her on YouTube, with the shitty thumbnails and calling her all sorts of things, calling her like a prostitute and all this shit. And so she's suing him, and they got like the court documents, and they had things that he had talked to Chat GPT about, and he was like trying to get it to say like racist things, and it wouldn't, and he was like calling it fuckface and stuff, and like arguing with it, and like he was getting it to write like love notes for his wife and bedtime stories for his children. And it's like there was a lot of talk of like AI psychosis and like how these people can't do anything without the use of AI. And yeah, just Dave argue with Croc. That's reminded me of that. It was wild reading that stuff.
I I know a lot of people that I work with that will pull up their fucking TikTok loudly on their phones and try to get me to watch videos, and I'll be like, that's AI. And they
Yeah,
don't seem to care. And it's like, I can show you a really funny video that's like actual people.
I've
I
I've showed my parents like AI videos just to sort of like, I don't know, I guess help them understand like this is how things have gone, because I feel like they could watch stuff that's on Facebook that's AI and consider it real, and I'm like, no, you got to see this. This is fake, and I guess just sort of like watch out for that stuff. But yeah, I mean it's wild, like especially what they can do now. I've seen like people getting arrested that's AI with like security cameras and stuff, and like you wouldn't think it was AI at all. It's scary. It's really scary.
I found out that like a former coworker of mine, her ex, apparently somehow made AI like revenge porn of her.
Mm,
And I was like, oh, that's fucking really gross, actually.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a thing, and I don't know. I don't know how people get away with it.
Because there's no fucking laws or regulations around this shit at this point, honestly.
I mean, I guess. I mean, you've got like the official White House account, like using Nintendo stuff and all sorts of licensed properties that they have no rights to use, and nothing happens about it. So
I only suspect they're gonna get more bold towards Nintendo given the tariff lawsuit. Like if I just
yeah,
had to take a shot in the dark at that,
probably.
which whole thing fucking sucks. And speaking of tariffs, or tariffs being used as an excuse for bullshit, uh, my friend of the show that I know he doesn't listen to, Wrestling Figure News, got on a phone call with Steve Rosenthal, and because the audio was like not the greatest quality, uh, he recorded it and basically like typed out the entirety of the Q&A with Steve Rosenthal of Powertown. Um, where the fuck do we start with this, man?
When you sent me some of the notes, I was just like, it sounded like I'm reacting to you, but I was like reacting to the things he said, and I didn't read it and I didn't listen to it because I'm just like I'm so checked out. It's like to me, Power Town died months ago. I mean, I think we did an episode where we're like Power Town is dead. So the more I keep hearing about it, it's just like just stop. I don't want to hear anymore. But let's go over it, I guess.
Okay, so remember how last year in January he told me that the Remcos were going to be arriving at the port on like January the 15th or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah, they were not even in production at that time. He admitted that to Wrestling Figure News. They're in production now.
Oh,
TNA
yay.
TNA Wave One, which by the way, their deal with TNA is not up, despite Ringside making TNA figures, because most licensing deals aren't exclusive, but most of them in the wrestling business. Figure that out. Um, and Ultras Wave Two are not um, in production yet. This is because they took on financial investors because they stopped the pre-orders, which were, and I quote, the sole source of revenue for Powertown. And there's so many things here. Like, for one, we knew that they licensed Galoob and original San Francisco toy makers. Obviously, Rosenthal licensed Remco because that's the company he was with in the 80s. And there were going to be MLW Galoobs. The MLW deal's over because they weren't going to be able to get things out fast enough for MLW. So MLW ended their relationship with Boss Fight Studios for this, which is like, great business acumen on the part of Court Bauer. So they licensed. This is this is directly from fucking the horse's ass. I mean mouth. Steve Rosenthal. They have licensed Hasbro, like the classic Hasbro toy logo and the current logo. Uh, Now I'm going to make an announcement here that nobody knows, so you're the first to know this. It shows what I say. We've acquired the rights to Hasbro, and that has not been announced publicly to anyone. What that means is we've acquired the rights to utilize the Hasbro retro logo and their current logo on all wrestling figures. And why are we doing this? Because Hasbro deserves a royalty on all of the Hasbros that are out there. That was my approach. Um, he circles back to it and says, we paid a substantial amount of money to Hasbro to make that deal, and it's a long-term deal. And what we did with the other retro brands is we just acquired them through legal means. That's OSFTM, Galoob, Remco, etc.
Where did that money come from to acquire the license for Hasbro?
He basically mentioned that TA and Gagne stepped away because they have public personas. They have a fan base. They do a lot of signings, and they reference the Magnum TA pod with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and they don't talk about Powertown, but like in the comments, people just started banging away at Powertown, and it's not fair to Magnum that he's associated with it. Now, if Magnum had not done that podcast where he shit on the collectors repeatedly and threatened them,
Yeah.
I might feel some sympathy for old Terry Allen. Here, I don't give a fuck. Get fucked. It's not fair to Magnum. Yeah, it wasn't fair to Flair either, but he still won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's like he shit all over the fans and then he's out of the company. It's maybe you shouldn't have said that shit.
So they're still working with Lucky Yay, which is, as Rosenthal loves to point out, these were who McFarlane manufactured stuff for McFarlane until he sold half of his company to somebody in Canada, which I don't even know what that's referencing. I can't say that Galoob will necessarily stay with them, or San Francisco Toy Makers will stay there, or Hasbro's will stay there, only because those figures are not nearly as intricate as what we're doing with Remco's and with the Ultras. Wait, if you're doing Hasbro's, and somewhere in this interview he claims they're going to market Hasbro's exactly the way Hasbro did from 91 to 94, you're going to have the action features, and I would argue that makes them more intricate than anything you're doing with the Remco's. Maybe not from an articulation standpoint, but from like a making this fucking work standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you have to have the mechanisms. So we're going to market the Hasbro property exactly the way Hasbro marketed it from 91 to 94, those 3 years, which it was 90 to late 94, but okay. Between when LJN had it and then Jax, all of the cards are going to be the same. All of the color iterations are going to be the same because it's got Hasbro on it. It's a perfect opportunity for retail. This was in response to being asked, is there still a plan to take some items to mass retail? It looks like he really wants to get the Remcos and like anything like classic, like retro style is what he sees as having potential at retail. There is zero fucking mention of getting the Ultras into retail here.
I it's hard for me to believe any of that Hasbro stuff, and it's also like any like possible retail outlet just needs to look up at this company's history and who would want to take a chance at them with them at this point. Like, there's better products elsewhere, whether you're talking about like Zombie or Epic or whoever. People with experience that haven't had a disastrous situation like Powertown has. Who could possibly want to be in business with this company?
I think that's why he's hoping that dude that used to be the toy buyer for Toys R Us can fucking make some headway for them, because it's those two and like a former Hasbro executive.
Also,
that's their fucking company now.
Let's say even if the Hasbro thing is legit, it's like, when do you actually expect these products to get out there, considering how shit has gone so far?
And who the fuck are you going to do? They handed a bunch of licenses over to WWE.
Yeah.
They handed Harley Race over to WWE. They handed Junkyard Dog and King Kong Bundy and Tito Santana and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They handed a lot of their fucking names over to WWE. So like, okay, you're gonna do Powertown Hasbro's. What the fuck does your Series 1 look like?
Broken legs and arms, probably.
I mean, like...
But yeah, you mean like talent-wise, it's like, I don't know.
I mean, parts-wise, they're going to have to completely resculpt everything. Hasbro probably doesn't have those old bolts anymore.
Right, yeah.
But, like, talent-wise, like, who the fuck... And also, I was talking with Wrestling Figure News about this. The retro fad seems to really be falling off.
Yeah, we've talked about it, plenty of times, is that we've already got enough companies. There's too many as it is, and there's like... I mean, yeah, like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to do, like, another Bulldog, another Savage, same as everyone else? But, yeah, you're right. There does seem to be, like, the retro, the idea of retros, it's not as, it's not new anymore. So people aren't as invested in them, I think.
I think Ringside is the only reason the Mattel retros are staying, and I think those are going to get sunsetted. Probably next year, because I don't think they're selling.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw that KWK Jameson, but I looked at that and I was like, that's better than anything Mattel has put out as far as
Oh yeah, the
retros.
bad news too. The bad news is
Yeah,
better than the zombie one, and that's a high bar.
yeah, they look really good. Like I'm not gonna buy
Yeah,
a
like
Jameson, I don't think, but I was like, oh damn, like he hit that on the head. So
I mean, if he came with a cross for Berserker to tie him to and throw him off the studio, I'd buy it. Primetime Wrestling, June 10th, 1991. For anyone
you
wondering.
know, you know what? And again, with this Power Town thing, if like there's anything, you should maybe have tried to when you've got the original San Francisco toy makers, maybe you should have tried to get the ACW line that Rush didn't do. You know, that would have been something different.
He also mentions that they were going to do Remco's with Master Republic. I don't know if
Uh,
that deal is still on the table, but also
hmm,
like the Remco stuff would have been really hot like 2 years ago when the Superstars line was really hot.
yeah.
You don't hear a lick of discussion on those now because the distribution's killed that fucking line and
Hmm.
people are kind of over it. And I feel like people are slowly getting over the retros too, because like those fucking zombie Macho Mans didn't sell out. Granted, other companies have done Macho Man, and also Macho Man's going to be a large fucking production run relative to others anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like the fervor is there that was there even 2 years ago. And now you've got like pinnacle collections out there in the wild. That's what people want.
I think the thing too is like the Remco's. I don't know the exact history with He-Man and Masters of the Universe, but they're very similar, right? And it's
Oh,
like,
they ripped the bodies off. There was a whole lawsuit about it.
and I don't think those like that brand is really. It's had a revival, but I don't think the figure wise it's really taken off. Like it, I have no idea what the sales are. I'm just talking from like my experience of seeing them on the shelves and stuff. It hasn't really taken off as highly as people would have expected, like the rebranding of them and everything. So I think in a way that might have affected the superstars and everything else because it's like you look at them and what they're based on, it's like people don't really seem to be into them. So yeah, I don't think a retro or a Remco line really means a lot to people these days. Um,
It did 2 years ago when those pre-orders went up, though. People were fucking hyped about those.
yeah, but they seem to get over them quite fast.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, the Superstars line fell off. As far as like Motu, when they started doing like the new like Motu Origins or whatever the line was called, I remember there was some excitement. But I think now people are just like, bring on the fucking Chronicles line, the new like 6.5 inch line.
Yeah, there's a weird thing about that massive Masters of the Universe right now. It's like you see the younger generation criticizing them and being like, "Oh, this is for old men and stuff." Like it's a really weird thing that I don't really see with a lot of other franchises.
I think it's because a lot of the other stuff that was popular in the 80s can be easily modernized. Sword and
Right.
sorcery stuff can't.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it's cool that it's we're getting a movie of it. I think that movie looks really good. But yeah, I'm just curious as to see how younger people take to it.
Yeah, I probably will end up getting that limited run Motu game because it looks good. They need to cut the
Yeah,
guy that created that shit a check though. There's no fucking reason that that guy needs to go fucking fund me for healthcare.
yeah, that's crazy.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? And I saw like Steve Ozer sharing like Motu stuff around that time. Might have been like the trailer for the game or like something about the movie. And it's like, do you want to go ask your bosses to cut this guy like a fucking $10 million check real quick? It's a pittance compared to what he made them, but that's a good start.
Mm. Um, Unrelated, but I wanted to bring this up before I forget. We can go back to Power Town. But did you see they were showing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 in theaters, and they had like live action Last Ronin stuff in it, and like a
You sent
special
me something
feature.
about that.
Yeah, that was crazy. And it's like the theory was that it might have been test footage for the movie that was canned, but even so, seeing like new Turtles live action stuff was just like sort of blew my mind. Like I couldn't believe it. I thought it was April Fool's at first.
I did too when you sent it to me because I think you sent it to me on April Fools.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not sure if this is. And then like, I tried to look for fan movies. I was like, is there any fan projects that like might have done Last Ronin live action? And I couldn't find anything. And then people were like, oh yeah, I saw it in the theaters when I saw the movie. And I was like, holy shit, that's wild.
So apparently, the reason people haven't been paid from Power Town
Because they have no
is
money.
The royalties are paid when the merchandise is shipped. Now, how does that work when Rosenthal blew all your money on party favors? We'll say.
And that's real shitty. That's something that we've talked about before, with, like, when it comes to Legends and like the deals they make, and maybe it was Power Town that said it originally. I can't remember, but like, they're expecting like a paycheck from these figures, and like, if they're not getting them until they're sold, they've been waiting for years now, right? So it's like, it's a shitty situation.
So, two things I want to bring up from this interview. One of the things that came out within the last month was one of your designers had mentioned that his contract was up. His name's Hal Haney. And he
Mm-hmm.
had also mentioned that he'd reached out to you and was looking for payment for work that he had done that he hadn't received. Are you in contact with him? Rosenthal. Not making excuses, which is a great way to start this off. We want Hal to be part of this going forward, and there's a lot more from what I've been told that went into Hal's frustration, and I get it. Hal was very instrumental in helping us with a lot of the sculpts. He's an incredible designer, incredible freehand designer. So now I'm going to reach out to Hal and try to make everything right. And if right means that he deserves more than he's owed, that's what I'm going to do. I really hope going forward Hal can be part of what we're building here. So I don't know how you see or how you get those text messages from him and how you don't hear that this is going on and fucking reach out. Like, this is your response in an interview a month after the original blow up. That's insane to me. Cut him a fucking check.
Yeah.
Come on.
The discussions should have already been well underway before the interview started.
A lot of the customers have sought refunds and it's well past their ability to receive those. Why hasn't Powertown offered those to customers? Buckle up. Well, first of all, that's not totally true. We've done refunds. I can't say how many we've done, how many we haven't done, because I don't get directly involved in that. We do have our controllers and our people to handle these things through Shopify, but I think it was all just a matter of communication. I'm not putting it back on anyone else because the buck stops with me, but that was all part of the communication problem. In some instances, we tried to salvage and save the cancellation. Look, if someone wants to cancel, we will try to contact them to try to see, look, the goods are shipping. Do you want it? Do you not want it? There's no excuse. It's just a matter of our lack of communication. That's our lack of follow up. There were absolutely positively individuals that did get refunds. Hi, I'm one of them. How many people didn't get refunds? How many people actually had cancellations? I can't give you the number, but there's also a lot of people that have stood by us and all they want is the merchandise. And I'm only hoping that when they get the merchandise, that will be the difference between them supporting Powertown in the future and walking away from us. I've absolutely reached out to certain individuals that either follow us or follow the pod, follow this, follow that, whatever the situation might be. And I've had some really, really heart to heart conversations. And again, without trying to oversell, I think turned around a little bit the direction that they wanted to take. So I enjoy being out there in the public. I enjoy having conversations like this. And by the way, none of the questions that you've asked so far have I taken any more than totally respectful. And I appreciate the ask. I really do. And I'm glad I have the opportunity. It's like this is all bottled up inside of me because this has not been an easy year. Trust me. Okay, so here's the thing. I may have mentioned this on the podcast previously. I may not have. I had a pretty open line to Steve Rosenthal for a long time where I would ask him stuff about ship dates, pre-order dates, clarification on stuff being like sculpted or soft goods. I asked him for a refund. I sent the Powertown account, which by the way, he has the password to. I sent the Powertown account 4 fucking DMs asking for a refund. I sent, of my own volition, 2 emails asking for a refund, and at the urging of fucking Affirm, 4 more fucking emails. Rosenthal might follow me still on Instagram. I don't know, but we were mutuals, and he absolutely saw my comments on this fucking post because he responded to some of them. That motherfucker never reached out to me one goddamn time. Not one time to offer me a refund, and there's no way that he didn't fucking know that I was asking for them because I started posting it on every post that they made.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's not true. We've offered refunds. No. Wrestling Figure News can't get his money back. He contacted PayPal and they were like, it's been 2 years. There are people out like $1,000. I don't care how good these figures could be as good as the Pinnacle collection, which they're not going to be. We already know this, but they could be as good as the Pinnacle collection, and it's not worth the fucking 2-year wait.
No, it's
It's
not worth all the goddamn hassle that they've gone through.
These figures are the same price. The Ultras are the same price as the Pinnacle collection, with less heads, less articulation, and I can say this because I own Series 1, less detailed paint applications. Like, those figures were really impressive. And then Zombie did the exact thing that I'm pretty sure I predicted on this show 3 years ago, where the second those come out, the whole thing fucking changes. Like, Powertown's only strength were the names that they had, but if you can't trust them to deliver those in even a remotely timely fashion, what can they possibly fucking offer?
More bullshit excuses. It's just like, again, I didn't listen to the interview, but like just reading or just hearing what you're as you go over it, it's just like, you know what comes out. I'm just as you're reading it, like I'm listening to it, but it's just like blah 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 blah. Like I, I don't know. None of this stuff goes anywhere. I mean, you just talked about the refunds. Now he's talking about like Hasbro and shit. It's like, how are you supposed to believe anything he says at this point?
Oh, well, here's the way this interview ends. You've got a lot riding on this, and like I said, a lot of people are looking for their product or they're looking for their money, and they want to understand what's going on. Everyone saw the April note last year, and then the communication didn't come after that. A lot of people are looking for answers and wanting to know what's going on. Rosenthal says, and this is a hell of a way to open this up, I hope that a lot of what you and I are talking about today will get to them. Maybe he means like the information and not the figures. I certainly hope he means the information. Again, some of the exciting things that I'm telling you about, they will say, sure, that's great. Ship me what the hell I order. I get that. The frustrating part to me has been that with all the deals that we have in the hopper, the Hasbro's, the original San Francisco toy makers, our talent, we just haven't been able to do it. We've been at a standstill. Now our intent is to revive this thing. We have to revive it the right way. We 100% have to reestablish our credibility. I can just imagine people are saying, yeah, here goes Steve Rosenthal again. Well, he's at least self-aware. Like I said, I can sell a strawberry popsicle to a lady with white gloves. That's not the way I want this to be taken at all. At all. So I appreciate you reaching out. It should also be noted this interview was supposed to happen like 5 days earlier than it did. Rosenthal, I guess there was some storm damage to the condominium he lives in Florida. But
And all the
like,
Remcos were destroyed.
yeah, all the Remcos that docked in January last year, even though they didn't go into production until fucking October.
Yeah, the contract with Hasbro was damaged. It no longer exists. Sorry, guys.
So I read this and was like giggling out loud in the break room. This made my fucking day. Yesterday when he posted it. My thing about this is Zombie's quote to me in a DM in 2023, maybe 2022, about these guys being geezers with dollar signs in their eyes. It only ages better the further you get from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that quote only just like, gotta give it to him. He was fucking right on the money. And a little communication would have went a long way, but also if it was going to take you a year and a half to bring on financial investors and shit to push this stuff into production, why were you taking the pre-orders when you did? What sense does it make to solicit pre-orders for something in March of 2024 if you realize you're in over your fucking head and need some like extra investment in the summer and the fall of 2025?
Yep.
There could have been communication this whole goddamn time about like, listen, guys, we know we took the pre-orders. It was probably a little early. We're taking on some investors to help things run more smoothly, and we'll have an update on these for you in a few months. It will take longer than we initially had projected. It may take significantly longer than initially projected, but we're going to keep you guys informed every step of the way. And then you do periodic updates. That is not fucking hard to do. I guess it is when you don't have any updates at all. But like, this is bullshit.
I, I wonder, like, let's say that they do those Hasbros. It's gonna be really sad when people start pre-ordering those. Like after all this, you know what I mean? It's like, do you still trust them? You're gonna pre-order new products for this from this company?
There was a note about the pre-order model in here. Of course, I control F pre-order, and there's fucking.
I wonder if any talents try to start a lawsuit against them.
Hold on a minute. But what I'm saying is sometimes you have to be aggressive and say something to a buyer to make sure you get the order. Once you get the order, this is retail. I'm not talking pre-orders. In the case of these pre-orders, we just didn't know what to say. And we do have a PR agency, and they said sometimes silence is better than saying the wrong thing. So we were just caught between a rock and a hard place, and we were wrong.
That's why Sting didn't talk for a year. He didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Well, the high degree of likelihood he might have. Every time you do a pre-order, you're looking at upwards of 4,000 or 5,000 different individual orders. We know that's bullshit because there's not 5,000 of like any singular Power Town figure, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I thought there was another now I
Maybe
will
they
tell
were.
you this, that our plan is to have the goods in stock before anybody orders, because obviously pre-orders are a problem because you're basically taking money and people have to wait 6 or 7 months. Brother, it's been longer than 6 or 7 fucking months.
Well, that's actually what I was just about to say. Is like if they were to actually do anything else, then pre-order shouldn't really be an option. It should be in stock, ready to ship as the orders come in.
So I get all of that. So the plan is to put together an incredible marketing plan with all of the different trademarks that we own, from Galoob to Remco to Hasbro, et cetera, and Powertown to have those goods in stock and having a pre-order type situation where there's a special price up front. And then after that time element expires, we will still have additional inventory for people to order. Wait, so if the plan is to have them in stock, then why are you also planning pre-order? Oh, wait, no, I read that wrong. So they'll be in stock, but like there'll be like early bird pricing.
Right.
So we're really trying to identify what we need to do to reestablish ourselves as a company. We have about 30 figures that we have already created. We haven't shipped, that we put out in the marketplace, 30 various different individual talents. And again, we're not going to let anybody down on what's been ordered. What's happened to you was I mentioned to you, the licenses, the trademarks, and all of that. Hasbro is a license. So we paid a substantial amount of, oh, wait, I read that earlier. My bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how you reestablish your credibility. I mean, Epic, it took rebranding and making figures that didn't look like shit. I don't think Powertown, they can't outrun this one. You can't rebrand your way out of
Yeah,
this.
I don't see it even happening. I don't know if I believe this Hasbro story. It seems to be like I don't know like the history of Hasbro, but have they even done anything like this where they've licensed out
So
their logo and all this shit?
I brought this up to Wrestling Figure News, and apparently there was like a licensing deal with Hasbro and Mattel.
Oh, okay.
But
Not for
that's
WWE though,
Mattel.
right?
No, it's for something else. I don't remember what it was.
Okay. Yeah, I mean
So
that's like
like,
a major established brand.
I could believe 100% that Steve Rosenthal got the hair up his ass sideways to cut Hasbro a nice fat check. But like, it just feels really weird that it comes out in an interview with, and I say this with all due respect to Justin, with Wrestling Figure News instead of, as you mentioned earlier, a fucking press release.
Right. Yeah, I mean if you're gonna that could be seen as a major deal to people, so you think that the first thing you do would be release a press release and not in an interview. It's just comes off as random that way.
And here's my other big question about this. What are you going to do with the original San Francisco toy makers? They made like 7 different form factors.
Mm.
There were the LJN knockoffs. There were the figures with the action features. There were the like 4.5 inch figures. There were the fucking vibrators. There was that one Rodman and Hogan 2 pack that was like a completely different form factor. There was like the Polly Pocket sets. Um, there were like the 12-inch figures of like Sting and Goldberg. I think Hogan might have had one too. Um, the fucking hero heads, which got a limited release because apparently we just can't have kids hitting each other in the head with giant fucking foam Vader heads on a stick. So like, what's what form are these going to take? And also, if you're doing the San Francisco toy makers like LJN style figures, to make them accurate, they're going to have to be smaller than the Mattel LJNs and the big rubber guys.
It it doesn't even seem like there's a purpose to it. Like, as you said, they've got all these different forms. It's like you could have just probably have done something without getting their name on it. You know what I mean? It's like the big rubber guys, for example. It's just like, why would you even go after them? I don't really understand.
I'll always say I think it's amusing that Big Rubber Guys is the name of that line because it's what my older cousins used to call the LJN figures when I was little, and I
A
suspect I
lot of
suspect that was
people.
probably pretty common. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and like we can talk about like the Galoob line. I don't think there's that big of a market for those. I understand like that first
No.
wave was like super popular in the US and like obviously the UK got the shit that was canceled for the US market because like they made the dumbass decision to drop a repaint wave with all the same guys from series 1.
I think with Galoob too, it's because of the inaction. It's like, what's the right price point for it? And that when that diamond stud dropped, I thought that was a bit pricey for what it is. Um, so that's another thing. Like, how much would people be willing to pay? For Galoobs, I don't think they'd be willing to pay that much, to be honest with you. Now, maybe it's like the hardcore collectors, like they're going to pay probably more for them. But I think in general, I think if someone like me, that's like, I'm not like obsessive Galoobs, but I would like to get some of the ones that we're missing. It's like I don't really want to spend too much on them.
Yeah, I like the Galoobs that I have. Like I have Sting. I
Yeah.
have the Sid that my cousin came home from the bar and painted him into a green singlet with like dog dick red eyes and hair. I still have that. I have no idea why he did that to this day.
I have a lot of them. I had like Sting, and I think I got all of them in the UK. I think I got some in vacation for like new in vacation, and then I think the rest I got out of the flea market. I've got like Sting, Luger, Flair, Anderson, Doom, Barry Windham, Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner. Um, so like I grew up with them. I like them. It's just like but when I look at them now, it's just like I don't want to pay a great deal. Like I was much more invested in Hasbro because there was so many of them, right? And they lasted for so long. But Galoob, it's like I like 20 US is maybe like what I want to pay for them. I don't want to pay like 50 or something like that.
Yeah, and I guess the easiest way to get the cost down on these things would be to get them into like retail
Right.
because the more units you order, the lower the production cost, the lower it would make sense to sell the figures for. I have talked on this show and to just people that are around my age for years, like limited run games is a cool thing because like there's no way these things would ever get made regardless because you can't like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, you probably can't actually put that in like the 4 retail stores that still sell physical games. But if we had like 20 of them, you could make as many goddamn copies of that as you want. There'd be like thousands of stores, tens of thousands of stores you could send them to.
Right.
And that's the problem we have with action figures in general, but specifically wrestling figures is there's like 200 companies, not really, but there's a ton of them.
Yeah,
And
it's a
if
hell of a
Toys
lot.
R Us and KB and Child World and like all of those old stores still existed, I wouldn't have to pre-order things directly from Zombie Sailor. I could just go to fucking, like the closest mall to a KB or to the closest Toys R Us, and right there they'd be.
Yeah, it's frustrating, especially on my end. Like when I pay like a shitload for shipping, and you know, obviously I'd much prefer to like just go to a store and get them. Like if I could go to like AB is now obviously separate from GameStop and it's fully Canadian owned, and they just made a deal with Hasbro Pulse to have those in store. So if there could be like a deal made with them or something where I could just get them in store, that'd be super super cool. Or my ultimate wish is Amazon because you know, then I don't have to go to a store and I get free shipping through there. So I would love that. But yeah, it's frustrating that these lines don't end up anywhere but online because you feel like there would be a market if some of these stores would open themselves up to it. You know, it's just and like the quality, you know, of the Pinnacle collection. It's like when you look at those, if you're a retail outlet, like how can you not even like just give it a chance? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I know that they're in like I don't remember the name of the comic shop, but Zombie posted a reel that there's like a regional comic shop chain in
Yeah,
like the Northeast that's carrying his stuff. And it's like
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
they were probably one of the retailers at Toy Fair that
yep,
that bit on some of this stuff. I just if Toys R Us still existed, I would have went to fucking Lima to grab the Pinnacle collection in person.
yeah,
Basically, all of the retros, I would have just gone to Toys R Us or KB. Honestly, like it fucking Kmart would have been like another. That would have been like a high level like Hall of Fame. You go there because like no other store in the area's got them type scenario, and it just sucks. Like I obviously like binging a lot of mid 2000 stuff. I'll go on like Wrestling Figure Database and look at the old Marvel TNA figures and like the Jax Ruthless Aggression era stuff, and it's like I remember seeing so many of these figures at so many different places, and then like as far as the Mattel line exists, in the last 8 years, the only places I've had near me that I could go get wrestling figures were like Walmart,
yeah.
maybe GameStop.
For us, it would be like Walmart and Toys R Us, and AB has like a few different things, but yeah, I mean it's sad. I just don't, like I said, I just don't understand why at least one of them wouldn't take a. And I know there's that comic book shop, but like maybe a bigger retailer wouldn't take like a chance on like Pinnacle and just like, oh, we'll see how it goes. You know, I mean, the Lucha Legends. I mean, we were you able to find some of those in stores. Ultimo Dragon, and I think it was one that I saw. Oh, if not, like I knew it was available at some places. I think it was available in Canada. And you had like the little minifigs that they did. They were selling those at the dollar stores recently. Um, so yeah, it's sad that online is the only option. It's fucked up.
I also think Diamond Distribution being shady as fuck and going bankrupt is going to hurt a lot of
Hmm.
the toy lines
Yeah,
because that was a very easy way to like you could order through your local comic shop and then like when they come in you would just go there and get them.
mm,
And that also opened up, I'm sure, like communication with GameStop and like the smaller, like the mid-level, what few mid-level retail chains still exist. And them going under fills like leaves a huge void. Doesn't fill a huge void, it leaves one. And it's so hard to explain to somebody who's even like 7 or 8 years younger than me, like how much better shit was.
yeah,
Like within a 45-minute radius of my house, there were like 8 Kmarts, like 20 Walmarts, a couple of fucking Toys R Us, couple of malls, fucking a Blockbuster Video for those weird mini WWF figures that came out in like the spring of '02. Like that shit's gone now, and it's
yeah.
depressing. But, why is it every fucking episode we end on a downer? Jesus Christ, man! You think we'd be happy at some point? Um, but I don't mean to be so bleak. It's just when I think about the state of the things that interest me, it's like Labs fans said it best. Used to be better. All of this
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have like a Kmart and Zala's, and we had the Blockbuster, and we had Microplay. You know, different options for video games. Flix was another local one. Rick's Video, Movie Magic. Good times, great
We had
memories.
First Choice Video that was like shout out to Cole Cabana. Um, we had First Choice Video. We had Video Connection, which later became Movie Gallery. We had a Family Video. We had another regional video store that is where like the Ace Hardware is in our area now. Like the Big Bear grocery stores in my area had PlayStation games at one point. It was like the craziest thing in the world. They had like these two spinner racks up by the front counter. Those were where I saw NBA Jam Extreme for the first time. Like
I
actually
remember.
saw the case because none of the rental places had it for good reason. 'Cause it kind of sucked.
I think one of our grocery stores had like carried NWA tapes. I think they had that one that was like a music video, different music videos. I can't remember what the
Danger
tape
Zone?
was called. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we rented it from there before. Um, but it was really good in the 90s when we had there was a microplay like 15 minutes away, but then we got a local one which was across the road from Flick's video. But the microplay is where I ended up knowing one of the workers and was able to go there and play All Star and Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, and got that early messed up copy of SmackDown 2, and got a copy of Fire Pro D from him. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there. Um, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. I need to fucking try to get some other 360 stuff going on the Steam Deck. Like I said, it's been a lot of fun playing '07 again. I'm not going to sit here and argue it's like one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. Like it's like putting on a television show you haven't seen in a long time that you have like some fond memories of, and it's like, yeah, no, this shit meant something to me when I was like fucking 15. And like the rosters, like we've talked about like how dire the rosters kind of are for those mid 2000s games. It's crazy how different '07's roster is from '06. Like there's a ton of like turnover on the undercard in that
Mm,
game. Because like the Bashams are gone, fucking Paul London I don't think's in '07, but Kid Cash is. But Jamie
yeah,
Noble's not, even though they were a tag team.
that's strange. Yeah,
Like just
the
it's
pit
so
bulls,
fucking weird. They were great. That team was awesome. Jamie Noble's a great wrestler.
not to be confused with
I
the pit bulls.
the other ones that were fucking roided up and worked at ECW also,
Yeah,
yes.
quite different. Yeah,
Yeah. Dude, those pit bulls fucking ruled. Stevie Richards' best match of his entire fucking life is because of those guys in Raven.
yeah.
And Stevie's like barely in that match at all, which is probably why it's good. Somebody brought this up to me. It might have been, you know what? It might have been the might not have even been somebody saying it to me. It might have been the Between the Sheets Patreon special where they were talking about the Cat and Jerry Lawler thing from 25 years ago.
Mm,
But like Stevie Richards, back before he was doing the anti AEW grift, had a video about it on his channel. And I was like, there was a point where his channel actually had like good informative videos that were like genuine and like you had like decent information in them,
right.
which also goes with me saying they were informative. It's Easter Sunday. Um, I wish we had more guys like I love Maven's channel, especially because he just fucking hates Triple H. It's awesome. The clip of him reacting to Triple H talking about like Punk didn't trust me and I didn't trust him, and Maven just goes, nobody trusted you, Hunter. Nobody.
It's
Well,
up to
Sean,
Sean.
there's your
Yeah,
list. I fucking the thing about like our truth, like or Road Dogg letting personal feelings cloud his judgment. He's like, and Maven's like, I didn't know I was going to learn the definition of irony from Unreal, but hey, I'm always one for a good fucking lesson. I liked Maven when I was a kid. I thought he had a cool theme song, and he did that drop kick that one time.
yeah.
His YouTube channel has made me even more of a fan. That guy does not give a shit. And like some of his videos are like a little cringeworthy, like the how painful are these moves video, and it's like it's like actual workers doing the moves, and they're all being kind of like goofy about it, and it's like have some respect for yourselves.
Yeah.
But like Maven ruled. I still remember getting the WrestleMania X8 R3 figure of him and being like, well, I don't really know who you're gonna beat exactly, but I got you. No, if there would have been an Undertaker out, I probably would have put him over Undertaker.
I mean, you have
But
to.
yeah, but there's one ring gear R3 Undertaker, and it's in that 2-pack with black hair Ric Flair.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so there's a Mania X8 2-packs wave. There's Rock and Hogan, which by the way, only ring gear Rock R3 figure because fucking Jax. And then there's the Taker and Flair 2-pack. I think there's a Kane and Angle 2-pack, and there might be a Booker and Edge 2-pack. But I know for sure about the Rock and Hogan one because I have the Rock figure from that. It was my favorite Rock figure until the first Ultimate Edition Mattel did. Because like he's got the Edge torso, which is obviously the Edge torso, but it's like the big wide torso, and he was a big broad-shouldered motherfucker, so that makes sense. And it's using like the old Titantron head scan, which I think all of the R3 Rocks used anyway, so I don't know why I'm like it's the Rock head scan.
Mm.
And it's a good figure. The Taker and Flair 2-pack is like insanely expensive because the first release of it has fucking black hair for reasons nobody I've ever fucking been able to talk with that would have any insight could ever explain to me. And then there's an even harder to find running change where he's got the accurate white hair.
Let's see.
And
oh yeah, I see it now. Crazy. That's weird.
Taker has no tattoos also because
Yeah.
Jax.
And it's in like it's in a choke slam position.
Yeah, that match is awesome, man. That match fucking rocks. Like Mark Calloway's a fucking lame piece of shit, but like Booger Red Undertaker was that motherfucker, man.
That's so weird.
I remember Wrestling Superstore thought like, and this 100% is not it, but they're like, well, maybe it's because Flair was bleeding in that match and they didn't want to put red in the hair. And I'm like, but his hair's fucking black.
Yeah. 2K used to do that with Regal. Remember, they used to have like jet black hair.
Yeah, it was dumb as shit. But I get the compunction a couple of times a year, like, man, I'm gonna buy a bunch of those R3 figures because they're relatively affordable until you get to the stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then I'm just like, yeah, but then I'm gonna have to buy a Jericho. It's not even like, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a Benoit. Like I've already made my fucking peace with that decision. It's buying Jericho I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Which is wild because like that R3 Series 1 Jericho is a great fucking figure. It's like my favorite figure of him ever if I have to pick one. Like that figure was awesome. He got jobbed out to everybody. And I mean everybody. And like the Kane from Series 1 is great. The Matt Hardy is awesome. The Big Show from Series 2 is fantastic. I had to like, stealthily buy that figure because my mom thinks Big Show's the devil.
What?
And I'm not allowed to. That's a recurring bit I've been doing for like 20 years now. I have no idea why.
Because of the Dungeon of Doom?
No, it's I had like some sort of Fed TV on in the living room like 20 years ago, and Big Show was on, and my mom was like, "I want to see the news" or whatever the fuck she wanted to see, and I was like, "Oh goddamn, I didn't know you hated Big Show that much." Fuck did he do to you? So like every chance I've gotten over the last 20 years, I just tell people that my mom thinks Big Show's the devil, and I'm not allowed to watch anything with him or own any action figures or play any video games with him in them. God bless Tall Paul. But yeah, that'll probably do us for this week. I'm kind of hungry. Then we have to go to my aunt's for Easter lunch. So
What do you feel about next week? You're free next week, right?
yeah,
Okay. What do you think about doing taking a look at like some games that we have on our wish lists and stuff?
what do you mean? My brain just blanked.
Do you have like a Steam wish list or anything that you're looking forward to coming up?
I do have a Steam wish list. I don't think I have that many games that are coming out soon on it though.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like I've got like a good number of things, and it's like I was thinking I don't know, there's some of these games like people haven't heard of, and maybe we could just talk about that stuff. Like I think the one that you sent me, I think it's called Walled Haven, which is like a martial arts, like sort of retro stylized game. I think we could talk about stuff like that. Like Replaced is another one. I don't know if you were able to play that demo, but
Oh, I was. Yeah, no, it rocks.
that's out this month, I think. And just some other stuff that I've got kicking around there. I've got like I'm growing like a huge Steam wish list right now.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about 2K and their whole bullshit, but I'm fine with saving that for another day. Honestly, I don't want to think
Yeah,
about 2026 WWE at all. So yeah, we'll
no,
talk. We'll talk wishlist games and other assorted nonsense next week. But until then, take care. I hope the Easter Bunny brought you everything you wanted for Easter because he didn't bring me the fucking Jack's Bone Crunching Action Survivor Series box set for the 30th straight fucking year.
I got a lot of
Uh,
chocolate.
well, that's more than I got.
Like
Take
I'm
care and don't be.
diabetic.
Oh no. Oh, that's a horrible way to end this episode.
Goodbye.